Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining our free online lesson. My name is Nabil Fikri bin Shaizan and I'm an application engineer from AutoCAD System. For today's topic, I would like to share with you about the basics for introduction on AutoCAD Electrical. So this is basically what we are going to take a look on the view on this the contents of AutoCAD Electrical. So the main agenda for today is that first of all, we would like to run the AutoCAD Electrical and we would like to see the interface of the AutoCAD Electrical. So we want to see some of these panels, tools which is available that we can use. So the second one, we would like to create some projects, So we want to manage the project. Then we would like to create some samples, So this is where we start to take a look on how to use some of these electrical tools inside AutoCAD. So we're going to create this schematic creation. So along the way, we also would like to edit these schematic creations. So basically, we're going to take a look on the AutoCAD electrical tools. So let me show you on the AutoCAD electrical. So once you open or running your AutoCAD electrical, so basically this is what you will see. Most likely you will see this project manager over here that will be available. So this is where you can manage your projects. You can see some of these projects were input in one folder. So you can simply drop down and select the projects that you are working. So for this case, let's say, let me open one of the samples. For example, GBDE demo. So let me open some of this schematic from here. Then you can see is that it will list down all of this, the project file inside of one of project folders. Then you can start to take a look and start to hover between each project. For example, I have project 1, and if I create the next drawing, it would send me to the next drawing inside of this project. Now, first of all, let me close this one first. So we will start by creating our project. So before we do that, so we're going to create our drawing first. So to create your drawing, so you can go normally, so create new. So once you run the AutoCAD, so one thing that you notice is that on this AutoCAD Electrical, you have much more tools or much more templates now are now available inside of AutoCAD. So basically, you will have these AutoCAD Electrical tools for you to manage. So you can easily open from here. For this case, I'm going to use one of the templates. So I'm going to use NCP color. So I'm going to open this one, and this template is already available for me to use. So the next thing is I would like to create my project folders on this project manager over here. Now, in case your project manager disappears, so you can go to this project over here, the project tab, and you just click back on the manager. The project manager will be reappear. Now, to create my new projects, so I can click on this new project button over here and start to rename my project. For this case, I will name this one as electrical FOL. Now you can manage your locations and copy from another project files, but for this case, I'm just going to press OK. So right now I have my electrical folders, which is available from here. Now for this case, I can create a new drawing from here if I would like to. So I can just right click, create new drawings, and save. If you already open like I did just before, so you can also save. Now you can save on you can find the locations. Okay, so for this case, let me put inside of AutoCAD Electricals here. So I'm going to save this as a name. Let's call this one as All right, sorry about that. So let me select these folders and just rename, we'll rename these files as electrical, let's say 001. So I'm going to save this one. And you can see it is not yet appear because I'm only saved on certain folders. So to make this drawing over here associate with my project folders, so I can right click on the project folders and I can add an active drawing over here. So if you would like to add a drawing which is not currently open, so you can add drawing from here, but currently I'm open this drawing, so I can add active drawings and it will be added inside this project. Right, so that is basically on how we can create our file, our drawing file inside of Project Manager. Now let's take a look on some of this interface. So over here on the home, we basically got basic AutoCAD tools, command tools, draw, modify, and so on. And then we have this project, which is to manage your projects, which is this is one is with the AutoCAD Electrical. Right, you can copy your project files, or you can edit your project files. You can open right over here. Then we have these schematics folder. So this is basically the main things that we are going to take a look today. This is where we are going to draw some of these tools, right? Some of these electrical schematic drawing. So we're going to use some of these tools over here. Now, on the next steps, we have panels, reports, also exports, electrical mechanicals, which is associated with AutoCAD Electricals as well, but we are going to focus on schematic drawing only for today. All right, so for this case, we can see we have some of this ribbon over here. So we have the insert components, which you can use to insert some of the components. So for example, if I drop down, so I have an icon menu or catalog browser. So if I open on the icon menu over here, I have some of these tools which is available for me right now. Now, so you can see over here, so I can put some of these icons, such as, let's say, for example, push buttons. So I have these icons which I can use, or maybe I want to use some motors or fuses, right? So I can find it on the icon. Right, so that is basically an insert component. So there are many other tools you can find from here. Then we have the edit component. For example, if you like to move, to delete some of these icons, so you can use this edit component. And then we also have for wires, to create wires, to manage your wires. So we have create wire one by one, or we can also create multiple wires by using the multiple buses. And we can also edit our wires from here as well. Now, to start, let's start to take a look on some of the examples. So let's say we have this schematic drawing over here that I would like to use this one, right? So I will redraw back by using this one as a guide, right? So let's start to create this one first. Right, so let's start to create starting from the wire. So for that case, I'm going to use buses, multiple buses. All right. So once I open this multiple buses, so you can see I have some of the settings over here. So buses basically the buses is basically where you create wires, right? Multiple types of wires. So if you want to create individual wire, one by one wire, so you can also use wires from here. So if I use wire, so I can just simply create the wires from here. Now, if you would like to create multiples, for that you can use multiple buses. Now, in AutoCAD Electrical, it's also a good practice for you to use this icon over here, which is this snap to grid. So what this snap to grid allows you to do is that it allows you to snap your cursors if you try to draw. So if I turn off this snap to drawing, so you can see I can move freely, right? So, but if I open the snap button, so it will try to move according to this grid at the back over here, so which I turn off. Right? So I don't want to see the grid, so I can turn off, but I just only want to see the grid, the snap mode for the grid. So let's start to take a look on creating multiple wires. So I'm open this multiple wire brush. So over here, we can readjust the spacings. For example, I have 0.5. Maybe I want to have a spacing of 0.7. Right, so for that, I can just create from here. I'm just going to leave it as 5. So this one is for spacing. And then below here, we have starting with, so which means indicates what start of wires you like to create with. So for example, if you have components, you like to create from the components, we can do that from here. Maybe we already have another wires that we would like to combine. For that, there will be another bus, or maybe I want to start from empty. So for that, I will go with empty. And I would like to start with the vertical. So I've used the verticals. And below here, I can select how many wires that I would like. Right, so I can choose 2, 4, or maybe I can use 7. Right, so it depends on how many wires that I would like to use. For this case, I will only need 3. So I put 3. And I'm going to click OK. And here is where I can just click and drag, and then you can now see that you can now able to create these wires. Right? So it creates 3 particular wires. So if I would like to undo that, and I will click these buses, 3, okay. And if I were to move, and you can see it is automatically moved as well. So, but for this case, I'm just going to create a straight line. The bottom over here, and let's start to review back our samples that we're going to copy some of this as. Now we have some of these icon over here, right? Some of these electrical tools. So I'm going to put this one first. So for that, I can go to the icons and find the tools. So I believe the first one is, let's say, where is it? Okay, select the switch fuses. So I believe this one is a relay. Okay, so let's say I have a relay that I would like to input over here. So I just need to click over here, and automatically it will pop up some of these component instructions that I can use. Okay. So for here, I can input some of this information. Let's say I just name this one as CR1. And if I'm okay, I can just press OK. But if I needed to input it continuously, I can press OK and repeat, and it will ask me to input another one. So I can just input OK, another one over here. It's number 3. So I'm done. Just press OK and start to create my relays over here. So let's say the next one, I would like to input some of these circuit breakers on the top over here. So you can see it is much easier if you open and use this snap mode. So your schematic drawings look much more organized. So if I use an icon, so let me go to the circuit breaker. Let's say I have the circuit breakers poles. Just click at this one. So let's say just name it circuit breaker 1. Okay. This one also 2, and this one. And okay, now I have created my schematic drawing. Now, first of all, before we proceed for this, so let's say if I would like to edit this, for example, I would like to make it more better. So for that, I can use my edit component from here. Right? If I drop down, I have this show attribute or move, so which I can select and move. So let me turn off my snap mode first, so I can select match easily. So I use move. Once I select all the attributes, I can press enter, and then I can select and start to move so it is look much better. So let's say I move it somewhere over here. Now same goes with this one as well. So I'm going to move, select this one, and this one, enter, and I'm going just to move a little bit downward right here. Right, so that is basically you can edit to move your attribute. So for example, if I want to edit the component itself, I can also use from the component. So if I drop down, I have scoop buttons. So I can press scoop. For example, if I select one of these, and then it allows me to move downwards. Right, so along this wire, so I just press over here, it is start to move. So if I click the second one over here, I can also move as well, but it's not very aligned. So for that case, I will use align and press this icon over here. So you can start to see this line, straight line over here. So if I press this two icon, it will start to follow this line as well. So we have done that. So at the below over here, so I believe we have motors. So 3 connecting motors. So I'm going to open this icon menu, find this motor control, 3 phases, and I'm going to drop over here. Okay, so automatically it is trimmed and connected to the motor like we want. All right, so next one we have some of this line over here that we can input. So let's start to input some of this icon as well. I believe we have another motor controls, which is the overload, right? Just above these motors. So I'm going to input the motor as well. Now, in this case, I close the snap mode, right? So it is a good idea to use snap mode, but you can also not use the snap mode if you want to. For example, I did not use snap mode. Right, so one, it repeats. So I just simply put it over here, and it's not look very organized. But again, you can still reuse back the tools to make it align. Right, so I want to be aligned, so I push align, select the one that I would like to align with, select the other that I would like to follow it. Right, then I want to move the attribute, just selecting the attribute. Oops. So let me select the attribute here, enter, and I can move the attribute. Now, if we take a look back again on this image over here, so we have some of these connectors over here. So let's start to create some connectors, and we also have some solenoids over here that connected to the connectors. Now the connectors you can find from the insert component as well. So we have this insert connector. So I'm going to use this one. So let's say we have about 8 pins. Right, so you can control some of this from here. So again, you also can control these spacings at the below over here. And if you want to have more details of the controls of these connectors, you can drop down, so you can edit some of this size in this display over here. But for this case, I'm just going to use what appears over here. Now I can also orient it if I wanted to. I can flip this one. So I'm happy with this, and I'll press inserts. So I'm going to insert right over here. So you can see it is now automatically create, and I can start to rename this one. So like say I'm just going to give it XR1, for example. Press OK, and also give me the name of this. Right. So I have another connectors, so which have 4 pins, I believe, right? And flip it up, and I'm going to put it below here. And then I have this icon based on the samples over here. So we have some solenoids. So let me find the fuses. Sorry, not the solenoid, the transformer. So the transformer I'm going to input from here, and then we can start to input or start to connect between the line. Now we already created this line over here. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to connect it from one line to another line. So for this case, I can use normal wire. So and I'm just going to snap some of this. Now I can just also snap from the empty over here. Now again, I'm going to make use snap modes to make it more manageable. So let's say I just snap from the empty and just snap back over here. So if I try to, so let me repose back. So if I try to snap over here, automatically the pin will be reappear, so it will automatically connect it. So I'm going to snap over here as well. And then I'm going to, let's say I'm going to connect it between these two. So for that, I can use add wires. So above here, so I have what we call as stretch wire, which will be stretches to the next one. And I can use trim, so it will be trimmed like normal. So again, I'm going to use the second one. So I can also not use the snap mode, and we can also stick break the line with it. So let's refer back. So I have another connector which is from this transformer connected to these wires, and they also connected to the other wires. So I'm going to use this wire over here and connect it from here until here. Oops. Let me find wires. Right, so I have that one, and the other one, say from here, maybe I'm going to make it a little bit downwards. Now let's trim this one. So I can use trim to trim this one, and I'm going to extrude this one and trim this one as well. So I have done that. So let's take a look on the next. So I have some of the other tools as well. So let's say I'm just going to input some of the tools I can run from here. Let's say I'm going to input some fuse over here and another fuse over here. Right. So that is some of these tools that you can use. Now let's get a short. So next one, I would like to create some of these line buses, which is I would like to connect to over here. So let's say if I use my bus, so I also have components and also from another bus. For example, let's say if I want to connect it from another bus, so I can use this component from here, so from another bus over here. And I'm going to press OK. So I just press one of these two over here, and you can start to see it is now able to connect from one bus to another connectors. So same goes with this one, for example. So let me move this one. Let's say I'm going to connect from this connector into another connectors, so that I can use multiple buses, and I'm going to use component. So when I use that, it asks me to select which is the icon, the point that I would like to select. So I'm going to choose this one, and I'm going to press enter, and I can start to connect over here. So you can start to see it is easy to create your schematic drawings using AutoCAD Electrical. Now, if you're using wires, of course, some of the wires have different types of colors. Now, if you press the wire over here, you can also go over here at the bottoms or right click, and you can choose your wire types. So if you like to have different types of wires or colors, so you can use over here. So let's say I have red wires, you can press OK. So I can start to input from here. So I now have wires, which is red. And now if I want to have different types of wire colors, I can go ahead again. I can use these wire types to connect different types of wire colors. So let's say I have, let's say blue. Okay. So I can just simply press, and now you can see I have a blue colors for wires. Now, some other things that you can manage from here is that, for example, if you have these wires, you like to input some wire numbers, so you can also go over here, move, you can also move over here, edit wire numbers. So you can drop down, select edit wire number, select these wire lines, and automatically it will allows you to input the numbers. So for example, if I input wire number 1, 2, 5, 4, so I press OK. So the number will be appear. So I can continue select to the next one. So let's say 1, 2, 3. Next wire numbers 1, 2, 2, and so on. Now let's say I'm only select 3. So again, I can use this from this edit components. So we have line. So I can select lines. Oops. Select a line. Okay, for some reason, right. Oops. Okay, I believe the line are connected to different types of line numbers, right? So never mind. So if you like to move this wire also, so you can also use some of these tools. For example, I have scoops. So not only that you can select and move, you can scoop basically your icon menu, right? Your components. You can also use this scoop to basically move your lines, and it will automatically update it for you. Now I can start to manage and create my wires a little bit better. Let's start to add some line number again. Say start to 1, 2, so 3. Now, if I like to make it a line, so again, I can use a line. Oops. Use a line, select the numbers, and it will start to align with the number as well. Right, so that is basically the things, the introduction for AutoCAD Electrical on how you can start to use the AutoCAD Electricals. So yeah, that is basically the things that I would like to share with you again. This is basically the things that I would like to share with you guys today. So thank you everyone for joining our free lesson. So that is basically it. So I hope I can see you guys again on our next free lessons. So thank you everyone for joining this free lessons. So I hope we can see you guys again on our next free lesson. Right, so thank you and have a nice day.